What's up, everybody, and welcome back to WithamFamilyFarm and in the shop. My name's Jake, for those that are new here, and behind me is my dad's 1974 Case 1070, and in the last video we had the PTO quit on us, so we are going to tackle that here in this video. So without further ado, we're going to get to it. We're gonna start into the 1070 here. So the idea here is everything that has to do with the rear main cover here has to come off. So drawbar assembly in the drawbar, the bottom arms for the 3-point, and lines will have to come off. We'll have to drain the transmission, and we'll eventually get it. So set you up on time lapse and you can watch us work. Alright, we went and had some supper and let the two back plugs sit here and drain. The very back plug is still draining. So we're going to tackle taking off some lines and drawbar support here at the bottom. So we'll continue. getting down to where we're about to pull this thing off, but pulled the pump off. I believe we found our problem. That's our what's supposed to be actuating the brake for the PTO drum, and that supplies pressure to one side of it while it's supposed to be applying pressure to the piston. So if one side of the circuit is no good, well, it's just gonna not do anything for any of it. So
either side of it.
We still have to tear it down because I believe we have to pull out the brake in order to put the a new roll pin into it. So and we'll make sure that our clutches are still good too. So we are building a bracket type deal to be able to go into the holder for the top link when it is not in use. So 3 inches, or well, 3 inches to the center of the hole here, but this will go towards the front of the tractor, and then we'll have a spot in here to where we can hook the cherry picker right to it, make it a little bit easier. We've done this project before as far as PTO back in 2020 before we done anything with the channel, and so we don't remember exactly how we pulled this thing off the tractor. We just have a picture with it in the air after it's been pulled off of there. We don't have an actual picture as or video, whatever, of us pulling it off. So we're just gonna play it safe and make a little bracket here and go from there. So this is what we come up with one of the pieces that we had around. Now we'll be able to hook straight into with the hook.
PTO show. Now what we need to do? Now we need to go up. Now we just have to wait. Okay, can you see the screen? Are we okay with it? Or?
Yeah. Straight back.
But I want to lay it on its back, so to speak. The torch hose, maybe move it. It's going to mess with that one leg here.
Okay.
What do you want?
All right.
Down?
Yeah. All right. Well, we got it out. There's our sump screen. It's not looking too good. A lot of junk on it. And we'll have to get down to this at least. Which I don't...
That's the brake, correct?
Yeah, that's the brake. Alright, GoPro died, but I was able to get that retaining clip out, and we have a bunch of material on the screen, and I'm beginning to understand why now. All the, and not every surface, but quite a few of the surfaces, friction surfaces, are deteriorating, as you can see there. So that is not a good thing. We'll definitely have to be getting new frictions there. I think our steels are still good. So in the process, I did find this roll pin that's sheared. I'm not totally sure where it come from. So we'll have to look at a parts breakdown. Next thing here is I want to get this brake assembly out so we can get the roll pin out of it. So I'm gonna have to pull these 4 bolts out, and or maybe just the 2. But anyways, I'm gonna have to tear down into this further to be able to get to the brake. Got the assembly out now, so now we can drive out that roll pin. I believe that this chunk of roll pin here come from that. It's just down inside of the clutch pack for whatever reason. I don't know if it broke off and got sucked through a different way or what went on there for sure, but kind of sucks that have to buy new frictions, but that's the way it's looking to me. So everything else looks decent other than needing some frictions. Probably ought to get new O-rings or seals once again, so then we're in good shape there. All the bearings in here look really good, so everything doesn't look all tore up, so that's a good thing there. So we'll have to definitely be getting some parts here. We'll probably do that first thing tomorrow morning. But need gaskets. We'll need a pump gasket. We'll need a cover here. Looks like we used some silicone for this, which probably is the only thing that's available. We'll have to clean up our screen, and a bunch of this now makes a bunch of sense with the shape of the friction plates there. We'll have to clean out the bottom side of our bell housing, or bull gear housing here. And Dad was also talking about tackling that remote valve up there too. So I don't know, we'll see what happens here. But for now, and I'm surprised you guys can see anything. And with it about midnight, I'm gonna call it quits for tonight. We're talking about meeting at 7:30, so I want to get home, get a shower, and get to bed. So anyways, we'll pick it up then. All right, we're coming into Centralia here. Off over here, it's a spray paint plane going. You ain't gonna be able to see them, but up here at Centralia, trying to get some parts for 1070. Both 1070s actually while we're here, so. Alright, just got out of Elmer's repair here. The guys were really helpful and got us all squared away. We got all of our list. We got stuff for PTO for the power shift, and we got some engine stuff for the mechanical shift. So hopefully we get the injection pump back on that and be able to have enough stuff to run that. So as far as engine wise, we still need a bunch of stuff for hydraulic, and then remotes, lines, and cables. That's a big one there. So anyways, we're headed off, and we got the shop before you know it. All right, we've made it back from Centralia. Got our box of parts here. Part of it's for the Project 1070, but now we'll go through things and try to get everything back together. I figured that it'd be time to explain what's going on here. So while we're up at Elmer's Repair, this is the second time in the past 5 years that we've had this roll pin shears, and they said that a lot of times they just nut them instead of putting a roll pin in it. So Dad is off to town to get a couple of jam nuts. We'll try to put a jam nut on that. In the meantime, I'm going to try to replace some of the seals. Last time we were in here, we didn't replace the piston seals and expanders for the clutch itself, and I want to get all the frictions into some oil, and I want to replace the sealing washers on both of the pieces here, as far as the brake and as far as sealing washers for the piston itself. So there's also 2 O-rings here that I'll get replaced too, and there's a roll pin that needs to come out of this, and or maybe it's not in that, maybe it's in this piece here itself. Yeah, right there. So I'm gonna work on it and doing that. Once we get the brake somewhat situated, we'll go back on with the idler gears and everything back into this, and then it'll be rebuilding the clutch into place. We got a new O-ring or seal for here. Didn't think about it for these in here, but we should be all right there. We picked up 2 new springs for the brake itself. As you can tell, there's a visible height difference. So this is the old, this is the new. So good thing that we're doing those while we're at it too. All right, just got back from having something to eat and getting to wear down. I'm getting the piston carrier down into the clutch pack here. I'm trying to get this steel plate to line up and seat on down. So far it's not going in my favor. Even though we put all the work into the brake here, for whatever reason it is, I don't know if it's war or whether something is making it about impossible to meet up in there, but it's still not going to work. I don't know if there's a thicker pad with it being new or what's the deal there, but it is what it is at this point. So we are getting closer to where we could be able to go back on with this piece here. I still need to clean up the mating surface on the tractor itself. There's still a little bit of old gasket there, but got the pump mating surface cleaned up. I have the sump line that's all cleaned up. It needs RTV when we go back together, and of course all cleaned up. And yeah, so we're getting close, and hopefully we can have this ready to go back on or even on tonight. So Alright, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to tear into the remote valve here, and we're going to replace the thermal something. I don't remember the technical name to it, but one little tiny ball in each side. There's one at the top and then two plastic pieces basically. It's very typical on these that the thermal expansion relief valve or whatever goes bad in these. So it's just on the right side here. We're gonna take up the lines and pop off or take out the 4 bolts, and or maybe there's just 3 on this side. But anyways, we're gonna get that tore apart, and hopefully that'll fix the one sagging so much so quickly. There's one side of this valve that's very clean. The other side, where you can't get to, is very dirty. There we go. Alright, got it out. These pieces are what we're talking about. I got 2 springs up in there that are hanging out, and also little keeper things for those springs. So of course this is very dirty.
All right, I'm back here in the shop today. We need to get these thermal valves out, and we've dinged around, tried to get them out, but an idea we came across is tap threads into it and use a sliding hammer and pull them out. So I'm gonna try to do that. All right, so the hole size ain't quite the right thing. It's a little bit too big for me to be able to just thread for the threads on my little slide hammer here. So I put just a hook on here, and I'm going to try to like use that to hook back in there and use a slide hammer to pull it out, and hopefully that will work.
Alright, back here in the shop, and I'm going to continue on what Dad was working on yesterday with these relief valves. So I'm going to continue trying to get all the pieces out of it, and we'll see how it goes. So we reached out on Facebook, and everybody's had about the same luck, so just going to use what we can to pick out all the nasty in that, and we'll go from there. Alright, off camera, I got this piece all cleaned up. It appears to me, looking down into the bores, there's no O-ring, so it must have disintegrated. And like I said before, I'm pretty sure, or maybe I haven't said before, but one of the balls I could not find, so Dad was only able to find one. Well, luckily enough, when we were up there, they provided 2 balls, so we're gonna stick those in, and we'll work at trying to get this back together now. So first thing that needs to happen is the O-ring needs to go in with the bigger insert here. So stick those in. Wow. Those are going to be tight. Those are pretty tight going in there. Now I'll insert the other one on the inside. I don't know if I am supposed to, but I am putting a little bit of oil on both of these before I insert them. It's probably gonna be coated in oil anyways, so. Alright, I believe I got everything cleaned up real good. Try to get everything stuck back in its holes. And we'll get this back together. Alright. By some miracle, I was able to get everything in there and it tightened down, so we're good there. The only thing I have to do is get the lines back on it, but I'm going to wait on those for now. It's just going to be something else that's in the way to be able to get this PTO cover on. For now, I'm going to clean up all this. Get everything cleaned up as good as I can, and we'll get it sealed back up. So alright, I just tightened up these bolts. Been loose for a little while with the RTV on it, so now I think I'm ready to put a screen back on it with it being cleaned up, and I think we're ready to go back on, other than cleaning up this mating surface with some brake clean. just over the full mark. So with it just above the full mark, I'm gonna try to start it here and let it run for a minute or two. Let it get oil where it needs to be. And I'm gonna turn on the PTO as well. Well, it looks like PTO clutch is working as it should, so that's a good sign. We won't know anything about the remotes until we hook it on to anything, but one step closer. At this point, I'm just gonna call it quits for tonight. I got water running up at the house because my parents are not there, so I'm gonna go up there and watch that. Make sure the animals ain't getting into it, so. All right, everybody, I got it back together, so we are good to go, hopefully, here. So I'm going to get this thing fired up and get it down the road. I'm gonna go haul some hay and get it back over towards the hill, but I'm gonna do that off camera. So I think this is a good stopping point for this video, and we got the project done, and we'll test out the remotes when we get over to the field and start doing hay again, and hopefully we won't have any settling. But anyways, that'll do it for this one. If you got to this point in the video, it sure does mean a lot. Thank you. Give the video a thumbs up if you like this sort of content, and if you're new here, consider subscribing. It's free and it helps out the channel. Another thing that I keep forgetting to mention in any of our videos, I made an announcement back in the channel as far as via post probably close to a month ago now, but and on Facebook as well. But we have a merch store, so there is a link down below if you want some of our merch. There's several different hats to pick from, including the one that I am wearing that is not dirty, it's brand new. Some shirts, and as well as some hoodies. So be sure to check those out and help us in a more direct way, and love to see some different people wearing our logo. So anyways, without further ado, like I said, thank you, and we'll catch y'all in the next one.